Hello and welcome to Estuary TV News with me, James Dunn. In the show today we talk to a young charity fundraiser who is making quite a name for himself locally. And as always we've got Dan Kemp with the sport. But first here's Richard Morris with the news headlines.
Hello, in the headlines today, we've got an interview with one of the directors of Tata Steel regarding the sale of the business, and an operation to get people to send shoe boxes this Christmas is underway. Yesterday, we brought you the news of potential job losses amid new management at Tata Steel in Scunthorpe. The company could look set to sell to the Klesch Group, which in turn is now looking into the amount of people currently employed at the facility. The move could see jobs retained or thousands of jobs lost in the Scunthorpe area.
There is a misunderstanding what forming an intention means versus having a contract which seals a done deal.
Okay. Obviously it's hugely disappointing, not just for the unions but for the members as well. We had no warning that this decision was coming. Disappointed that we weren't involved early on in the process when the decision was made to put us up for sale. And it's going to have a huge impact not just on Long Products but also on the Tata Steel UK as a whole. We're just hugely disappointed that we weren't involved at the earliest possible stage, so we could get involved and help the company with this and work with them rather than be involved at the last minute like this.
Core of our information this morning was also to inform people this is the beginning of a process and not any change of our day-to-day work. So we are working along with our business plan until any facts are matured, and that will be, in the successful case, well in the next year.
Unison has announced that it will ballot its police staff members nationally over strike action. The move comes over fair pay for police officers and could affect the Humberside police force. We'll have more on this story as it develops. Local industry hosted a visit from the new rail minister as they lobby for investment into the freight network. Claire Perry visited Humber International Terminal and the ABP docks, where companies want government investment to increase freight capacity. It was also a chance for local MPs and councillors in North and North East Lincolnshire Council to press the issue surrounding the proposed discontinuing of the direct service between Cleethorpes and Manchester. The consultation has ended and the government will publish the results in a special report in December. Funding for freight could come as the result of a partnership between companies such as ABP and the government. But the next wave of investment doesn't start until 2019, so any increase in capacity is unlikely to happen until then.
So despite the tough economic backdrop, the government's spending more on railways, passenger and freight, than actually any time since the Victorian era. And it's so clear to me, coming to Immingham, where 25% of Britain's rail freight comes in or out, how vital the rail links are. We're looking at the investment in the biomass plant as well. That all has to go in and out. Most of it goes in and out by rail. So it's great to come and see it. It's great to come and talk about what the challenges are for the port, and also to see some of the investment, because again, some of the money is already starting to be spent on the improvements. But it really underpins, I think, the importance of the strategic freight network and how we have to keep investing.
Students at Franklin College are debating at an international final in London this weekend. The 6th Debating Matters International Final will take place at the Battle of Ideas Festival at the Barbican, London. The Franklin students will debate against students from Chennai in India. We'll have an update on how they did in Tuesday's bulletin. Operation Shoebox is preparing to launch its national appeal later this month. The appeal aims to send over 20,000 boxes to disadvantaged children in countries such as Romania and Belarus, and there are aspirations to beat the record of over 27,000 boxes sent a few years ago. The boxes are meant to be filled with either homemade or inexpensive items such as crayons or colouring books. Two of the organisers of the local appeal emphasise the importance of people taking a little bit of their time to fill up a shoebox.
I think it's important for them to be able to see. So like there are a lot of people gone out to do school assemblies, community groups like Young Wives and that, and they've taken photos out to show them what it means. And it's usually said that a child who receives a shoebox, they only ever receive one in their life. So it's most important that we make sure that it's a nice packed shoebox, packed with love.
That's all from me for now, and we'll be back with more news soon. If you have any news for us, then please don't hesitate to contact us on Grimsby 01472 315 553. Bye for now.
Thank you, Richard. Now, next on the show, it is 10-year-old George Kavanagh. He's not had an easy life after sadly losing his father to cancer last year, but he turned his loss into something positive, and now this inspirational young man is putting his all into raising the profile of St Andrew's Hospice, the local charity that cared for his father briefly before he died. So far, he's done a fine job of raising the profile of the charity, and he's so full of charisma, his own stock's on the rise too. I spoke to him at the hospice. So George, how did you first come into contact with St Andrew's Hospice?
It started almost 2 years ago now, when my dad died in 2013.
So did he spend some time here?
Yeah. He quite regularly came for some treatment, and I know he did spend a week in here now, and I know the hospice is a lovely place, but for some it can be very stressful. And some people see the hospice as a place where people come and die.
And you don't think
And
it
that's,
is that?
And that's what my dad believed, so he wanted to get out of it as quickly as he could. So we only spent a week in here. But while he was in here, we was getting treatment, and if I was him, I'd have stayed in here. I mean, on the Sunday, he was getting a flipping Yorkshire pudding and roast dinner, wasn't he? So, if I was him, I'd have stayed in here. It was nice and comfy.
So you enjoyed coming to see him here?
Yeah, but like I say, most people see it as a place where you come and die in. It's like a hotel for real people. I see it, I picture it as this massive building called Illness Hotel, something like that.
So you're now an ambassador for St Andrew's Hospice?
I am.
So what does that mean?
I don't know what ambassador means.
As an ambassador, since you have been involved with hospice, you've become quite a local celebrity, haven't you?
Well, I don't like to brag. Well, I do know, but it's got me a free donut, so I'm happy with that.
And you're everywhere now. You're newspapers, radio, even TV. Tell me about some of the things you've been doing.
They set me up this new song on the radio called Curious George, where the person who does it, John Goldsmith, who runs a breakfast show at the moment, he's a presenter on the breakfast show, which finishes at 10 o'clock, so I've got to be up early at 7:45. And he'll ring me on Fridays and give me a big question. I mean, the most recent one has been, why do we call it a close-horse when it isn't a close-horse? And on the Monday, he'll ring me at 7:45 and I'll give him the answer. And my first idea was, you never see horses with my mum's bridgets hanging off them.
And is that the answer you gave him?
No, there was other answers, a lot more pleasant than that one. There was better answers.
And what else have you done? Because you're quite regularly in newspapers, aren't you?
Yes, I've been in the newspaper a lot for them as well, advertising them, and Ellen the Ambassador, I've been representing the hospice very well.
And why do you think they chose you as their ambassador?
I don't think I'll ever know.
You've got a bit of personality, don't you, George?
Yeah, I have a bit of personality.
And George, why do you actually do this? I mean, it must be quite time-consuming.
I do it because I want to help people like my dad, and I decided to be the ambassador of a Building on Care campaign. I say the campaign that's raising all the money to go to a new building. I wanted to do that because the new building it'd be bigger than this, and I say this building is huge, isn't it? The one that's right next to us at the moment. And the new one's probably going to be half the size. And if you go to St Andrew's Hospice now, or maybe in the next few weeks, you will see it and you will think, what a massive building. You will. And it isn't even finished yet.
And so, you know, now we're seeing you, how old are you, George?
10.
So you're 10 years old, you've been on the radio, you've been on TV, you've been in the newspapers. What can we expect from you in the future?
I'm not sure, probably same again. Well, I used to say when I was little, I wanted to own my own ice cream van, but I thought, I've been thinking ever since, I won't get much money from that. And I've got a new thought that me and my friend, Tyler, now then, is going to go mad when he hears this because he told me never to mention him again. But me and him have decided to take over my dad's garage when we get older. As I say, my dad's brother's taking it on at the moment, and his son, they're like the new manager of it at the moment. And me and my mate are going to be taking that on, and weekly, every now and then I'm going to open up a second-hand shop as well. Pardon me.
Never mind.
And so the money will be going to send down to hospice from that. Well, most of it. I've got to learn to make money of my own as well, haven't I?
So we won't be seeing you on telly in the future with your own chat show?
Probably. I'm not sure yet. I'll see what I can do.
Well, it's certainly one of my more entertaining interviewees, and hopefully we'll see more of him. Next on the show, I've got Dan Kemp with The Sport. Hello, Dan.
Hiya, James, you all right?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Good.
I'm looking forward. We've got some interesting headlines today.
Yeah, we've got some interesting stuff. We've got the fixtures, of course, for the weekend ahead, and also Hull City's accounts have been released this week.
Always interesting.
We'll start with another big weekend of football action ahead, as I said. Hull City return to Premier League action after the international break. The Tigers travel to the Emirates Stadium to play Arsenal tomorrow afternoon for the first clash between the sides since May's FA Cup final. City is still without goalkeeper Alan McGregor, and veteran Steve Harper is expected to remain between the sticks. Scunthorpe United's new manager Mark Robbins takes his first game in charge tomorrow. The Iron host Colchester United in League One and are hoping to push clear of the bottom four. Grimsby Town are at Torquay United in the Conference, and North Ferriby United host Guiseley in the Conference North. Hull City have released their accounts for the 11th month period up to June of this year. They show a pre-tax profit of £9.4 million, of which £3.9 million was generated from the Tigers' run to the FA Cup final. The Super Stadium Management Company, the club's sister company, reported losses of £5 million. The 2013-14 accounts would show a combined loss for the Tigers and SMC of £1.7 million for a full 12 months of trading. This can be contrasted to 2012-13 accounts, which showed a loss of £25.6 million. The Hull Stingrays have back-to-back home games this weekend in the Elite League and the Challenge Cup. The Rays host the Edinburgh Capitals on Saturday with a 6:30 face-off, and they host the Nottingham Panthers on Sunday. That one starts at 6. And in another line of Rays news, Hull-born Sam Towner has been called up to the Great Britain Under-20 squad. He'll miss 4 Hull games during December as he's at the World Championships in Estonia, where he'll face off against Netherlands, Lithuania, Romania, Korea, and the hosts in Tallinn from December the 7th to the 13th. The Hull Wasps basketball team play their first home game of the season this Saturday at their new home Andrew Marvell College. The side were promoted to Division 3 last season and tip off at 6 p.m. on Saturday against the Newcastle ULC Knights. We now know who North Ferriby United will play in the next qualifying round of the FA Cup. They've been drawn to play either Colwyn Bay or Warrington Town for a place in the first round proper, and Warrington came out on top in the clash by 1-0. The Villagers are now just 1 game from the first round for the first time in their history, and the clash will take place a week tomorrow. And we know Grimsby Town will play Guiseley on the same day, and they have appointed Steve Marcella as their new goalkeeper coach. Marcella joins the Mariners on a part-time basis to work with the first team stopper James McKeown and youth teamers Callum Bastock and Jack Pearson. He's been coaching for over 20 years, including spells with Huddersfield, Barnsley and Queen's Park Rangers. A Hull FC trio have been called up to the England Academy Rugby League side. Jordan Abdul, Callum Lancaster and Janssen Turgut are all in the squad for a 2-test series against Australian high schools, which we played in December at Leigh Sports Village. Now that's all for the spot. Back to you, James.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, but don't forget you can get in touch by calling us on 01472 31553. You can email us on news@estuary.tv, or you can get in touch on social media. So I'm afraid from me, it's bye for now.